My name is Keisha, and this is my story. When I was 13 years old, I was a pretty normal, functioning teenager. Loved hanging out with my friends, loved doing activities and being involved in music. And within a couple of days, my life totally changed. It was a Friday, and I got up for school, just excited about the day. I was very dizzy though, and I didn't know what was going on, but I didn't think anything of it. And I headed off to school, just like normal. By the end of the school day, my dizziness had just increased, and I just felt terrible. I got up the next day, and I was just feeling worse. And I was going to spend some time with my aunt that day, and I was super excited about that, but just couldn't get past how I was feeling. And I remember when she came to pick me up, I stood up off of the bed, and then I immediately passed out. She was checking me, making sure I was okay, and I was okay, I guess, at the time I thought. But by early afternoon, something was really wrong. I had totally lost muscle function. I tried to stand up and I fell down. I tried to say some words and I couldn't speak properly. So she took me to the hospital, and that evening a bunch of doctors came into my room, and they just, were checking me again, looking at my eyes. And I remember one doctor in particular asking me if I knew the national anthem. And I shook my head yes. So she handed me a notepad and a pen and asked me to write the first line of the national anthem. And I tried to do that, and my hand completely collapsed. I could not write anything. So I burst into tears, of course. During this time, my sister, my sweet sister, she wanted to just keep me encouraged, keep me uplifted, continue to allow me to know that God was still with me. And so she would go to church at night when no one was there and put her tape recorder in the floor and just record herself singing a bunch of encouraging songs. And she would send them to me or bring them to me with a Walkman, and I would listen, and because my regular way of communicating was not there at the time, the only thing I knew was to talk to God. And so I would listen to music and talk to God, and listen to music and talk to God. And I feel like that was the beginning of God's customized way of healing me through music. I ended up getting discharged from the hospital, still without a diagnosis, and it was time for me to go back to school. I was using a walker to help me get around. I was at this point out of school for about 2.5 months. By my 8th grade graduation, I wanted to be able to walk across the stage. And so I prayed, and I was like, Lord, this is what I want to do. Can you please help me do it? I don't know how I'm going to do it. I ended up having to go back to school using my walker, and I was just horrified, as you can imagine when you're that age. And I decided, okay, I'm not using this walker anymore. And so I would just, when I was home, I would do these exercises, going up and down the steps to try to get myself stronger. And I would, just do whatever I thought I could do to try to walk on my own again. So I ended up walking across the stage at my 8th grade graduation, and I was so grateful, and so thankful to God that He healed me and that He allowed me to do that. Now that's just a short, a small part of my story, but an amazing one, because during that time, God used music to help heal me. And I never would have imagined the path that He had for me, that I would be a worship leader, that I would serve my country as a musician and heal people around the world. And so I sing the way I do because I know what it feels like to not have a voice. So I just want to encourage you, give God your all. He has something amazing in store for you and for all of us.